Thank you for being here. There are only two presentations with the level 4. One is ours, and the second one are the drinks just after. So it's number 4 because what you're gonna try to achieve here actually is to show what could be the journey of the big corp from the reporting structure to let's call it data science structure with all the stuff that is running with data science. I have a question first before you start. Who is working for the big corp right now? Oh.
Good.
Okay, good. So, and who is working for the big corp, but from as an outside company? Okay. So, because the thing here what we would like to achieve is to what we think is very difficult in the big corporation. It's not really to put the technology because we have money, we have resources, we have servers, and we can have people. The question is how to bring technology to life operations, and this is we think is the biggest problem. So Orange, just one slide. What is Orange? Orange Polska. So we're a company in Poland, part of the Orange Group. Quite huge for those who are not from Poland. Zloty is divided by 4. It's euro. So we have quite huge capex for the investment and quite a huge company, 15,000 people actually in Poland only. Probably 200,000 in globally in the world. So it's big corp in the way that it's very difficult to implement some things if you are in the small BI. And small BI could be like 100, 200 people in that kind of corp. So it's still a big company from the startup perspective. Then we have to just say one thing, which is quite new for us as well. We're very well placed in the innovation, which is very good news for us. In Europe, like first European company according to BCG. We are doing quite a lot of stuff which are innovative, and one of those things that we are doing, and it's quite cool, it's actually big data and BI within Orange, because we achieve something like experimentation type of department, so we can experiment on different things and do things differently than any other part of the company right now. So let's move to the presentation. Just to give you the flavor, actually, we're running the transformation since, let's say, 2014, end of 2014, 2015. So like 3 years now, because we're in the beginning of 2018. And when we started from, we are running full cycle. We started from really reporting organization, when you had data warehousing, obviously reporting, stock exchange reporting, and some kind of manual machine learning. When I call manual machine learning, we are able to do predictive analytics every 6 months and update the models and send this to the marketing and run the models with marketing on the production. And where we are now is we add to that real-time processing of the data on the Hadoop. We're going to talk about this, so I'm not going to go into much details. Hadoop processing of offline data, massive data as well. So this is running in-house as well. We add cookies management, a data management platform for those who are aware of this. Who is aware of what is data management platform? Okay. So I would just so it's for the cookies management. The idea behind is when you buy the publicity on Facebook or I don't know Google, you can choose whatever to whom you're gonna present the publicity, and it's your choosing. It's not kind of ad agency that's gonna choose for you. So you are saying, for example, those are my customers. I'm not gonna show the publicity to those customers because I'm not paying. I don't want to pay for that. So this is kind of cookie management and how we can buy the ads using cookie management. So we implemented since then model factory, so the models are updated, let's call it almost automatically, from the data preparation to model, to choice of the model and choice of the parameters of the model. We choose the best model in the, let's call it automatically, so it's when the data is there, so right now monthly, because we are in the company which is Orange, which means that we have invoice, and invoice is coming monthly, so monthly we are updating our models. We can do it daily, we can do it in real time if you want, but it's just the question of the business. So we have the programmatic buying ads on the web page, and we have event management. So let's say the customer with who is our customer with consent. So he has all agreements with us to serve different publicity. We can use some events like he's on our web page and we're gonna do the targeting, or he's in our point of sales and went out of the points of sales without doing nothing actually with us. So we can retarget afterwards this customer elsewhere. On this presentation, we believe in one thing actually, and this is quite important, is that big data is not about technology. Big data is not only about the use cases, and big data is not only about people. Everything is interconnected. So the whole idea is that, and we're gonna show this throughout the presentation every year, that each time you have to touch 3 of those domains. You have to touch the organization, you have to touch the technical stuff, and you have to touch DevOps. Because if not, you're gonna deliver the use case that's not gonna be used if you are too technical. If you are too business oriented, you're not gonna deliver the use case because you have no knowledge. And so you have no platform, it's not gonna deliver the use case because you have probably knowledge, you have everything else, but you don't have the right data and the right capacity to deliver the use case. So every time you're gonna look at the 3 of those. 2014, let's call it inception, we started.
So when we started with this, what we tried to solve is basically a cost pressure. We had pressure from accounting or budgeting to do more for less. And when we looked for a solution, we all, of course, turned into Hadoop and open source. In addition to that, we saw the opportunity to process more volumetric data at faster speed, and that's where we started going with the Hadoop and big data.
So I saw that most of us are working for a big corp. Who is working in agile mode in every project? Who is working on waterfall projects? Mostly. Okay. My personal opinion, and proven in our approach, waterfall doesn't work for big data. From my perspective, it's clear for a few reasons. One reason, okay, it's good. It's here. One reason is if I go to my CFO with the waterfall approach, he's gonna ask me how much money I'm gonna earn with this project. I can tell something, and I should deliver exactly the same. Everything should be known in the beginning. I will spend months on the analysis, then I will start implementing, and then I will find that something doesn't work. But I cannot change it because I promised that I'm going to deliver exactly this. The thing is that in waterfall, what we had, and this is our situation in 2014, by the way, we had actually a situation when the failure is not accepted. And in big data, when you start something in 2014, the expectations are huge. But the knowledge is very low, at very low level at that time. And the failure should be accepted, but not a big one. But then it's not the case.
Okay, I'm going to speed up a little bit, and sorry for that. The technical slide will be fast. We started experimenting for data nodes, for management nodes, classical kind of referential value for that time. Put nodes, put it in the cluster, and run with it. And we ran with it for 4 or 5 sprints just to prove the value, that we can do something with that. And hey, it worked. So after that, we actually went and bought templates for stream processing. That's where we showed this quick return on investment. So we started processing the signalization data from mobile network, and it started to show up and give almost real-time information. We use Kafka Storm, classical solution for that. DevOps. At the same time, we started the team in the DevOps mode, Agile mode. We had a Scrum trainer, I would say, Scrum Masters, Scrum trainers. We did a couple of sprints. 4th sprint was kind of interesting when we had a streaming already up and running. I had 40 people on the demo. And all I was hearing is, yeah, you don't have that, you don't have that, you don't have that, and I was kind of bummed out about it. We don't show value. And after 2 days of thinking about it, I'm like, but nobody said I'm wrong. Everybody wanted more of data and more of those information rather than saying it doesn't work. So that was kind of, hey, that's good. And we started running with that. We also started during this first year doing some kind of roles as a big corporation. You've seen this theme coming up and up from those presentations. ITIL, ISO, security, all of that stuff we needed to manage. We don't have the ability of startup to have one person doing that. So that was the experience of the first year. Run a little bit up front. So the ITIL, ISO, those were challenging and took some time. Security and auditability of this we needed to put from the start, and integrating with all those corporate solutions for that took us a lot of time. Kind of interesting, when we often hit the problem that something doesn't work, and then we found that there is a Jira in Apache that, yeah, it will come up soon. And actually, you often did soon. So running to the next year.
So the fund really started in 2015 because we got a huge opportunity. So again, a question. Who is here actually in the IT organization in BI? Who is in business organization in BI, business analytics? And who is in the joint organization, business and IT in the same? Yeah. And this is quite cool in Sphere and that kind of organization, because if you talk about agile, the thing is that first thing is it's very difficult to put agile when you have separate IT and business departments, because data scientists are in other departments. They're just gonna ask for the data, and IT guys are gonna just try to deliver the data, but without really understanding what is going on. So we took kind of principles, and we had huge opportunity because we merged IT and business department in one in 2015 from the analytics perspective. So we have data scientists, we have data consultants, data governance, and data engineers in one team, which is easier to take the decisions. And which is easier if you would like to accept the failure, to say that the director is not gonna kill us for the failure. Because you can come and you can say that something doesn't work and your idea was wrong. That was our deal with the team from the beginning. But with the rest of the organization, 15,000, and this is except of outsource guys, so probably it's 30,000. We cannot consolidate everyone in this organization. We just put the analytics guy, few analytics key guys and IT guys in one organization, and we call it hub. This is not my name, it's Hub and Spoke. I got it from McKinsey, actually. That's a trade name from McKinsey and that kind of organization. But the thing is that the rest of the organization, you can have several hundreds people doing kind of BI as well. But we work with them in the mode of, I would call it federation. And I was asked a question in the beginning whether we're going to merge everyone in the BI. I said I'm not going to spend next 2 years talking with all my peers to get the best people. I will try to do the use cases in the big data, because if not, in big corporations, you're going to spend the power games for the next 2 years without getting nothing. The second thing in the previous one is build the skills. One thing I would say, if you're in the big corp, try to build internally, but hire the people from the outside that can teach you. But the guys who actually done the things. We got the chance, actually, we started our big data with Adam, who is running this conference. So he got just experience at Spotify, and we just took Adam to train us, and it was a great experience for us, actually. Kind of cracked let's say, publicity, but we were thankful for that. For the Agile, what do you think, what is the most difficult part in the Agile team? Who is the most critical guy in the Agile team? Scrum Master? Agile team, or product owner? Yeah, product owner, actually, from our experience. Because Scrum Masters, they are on the market. There are a few guys, girls running the Scrum Mastering stuff. But the product owner is the one who make or break the project, because every product owner was probably a project manager before, and they are still thinking about you should deliver what I said in the beginning. And they should change the mindset to something else that I will talk about afterwards.
Okay, so in 2015 we started a little expand those big data solutions. We put up in-memory database to speed up those queries for people that actually, for analysts that are using the data, and Hadoop wasn't that big on that on the responsiveness. We also noticed that we started sharing the cluster, big data cluster, for more and more solutions. We started with one, very specific, and then it's like, okay, we can reuse that and reuse it and reuse it. So that's how we grew to a couple of projects running on it. We also getting a little bit of experience moving from 2014 classical architecture bare metal. So we can move now. We learned that we can move the management nodes to VMs. Let's leave the data nodes on bare metal. And we have those blades for stream processing. At that time, the data science starts to pick up, and they start to use all those tools that everybody is talking about, reading about. And we kind of had the problem to putting them on the cluster. Because whenever they started doing something, well, resources going down, no production reporting is running on that. We found out that group actually pulled up the OpenStack, and we moved them to that solution so they can train their models or learn on that. In terms of technical challenges, on the right side you have a kind of a schematic view of our solution or ecosystem, and still we have enterprise data warehouse and Hadoop, and we wanted to marry those data to some kind of external tables from data warehouse or something like that. And we learned very quickly that all those legacy BI vendors, data warehousing vendors, are still in infancy in terms of connecting to Hadoop, in terms of security. We've put firewalls, etc., around that, different roles, and they couldn't cope with that, I would say. Kerberos, still a pain. We also have a pre-production cluster, but it's not the same. So every time moving something from pre-production to production gave us additional troubles, mostly with the Kerberos. And having those 2 or 3 platforms, we still try to find the best way where to put data. Because, Hadoop, of course, the answer is Hadoop, but it doesn't always work for all those classical CRM kind of reporting. On that time, we also tried the different configurations, having VMs, having management nodes, mostly about the management nodes. Should we put this and this together, or that and that together? Kind of trial and error. This right now doesn't have that much need for processing power, so let's put those together, or something like that. And of course, scheduling was a recurring problem in terms of more people, more requests, more running jobs, and stealing or waiting along in the queue. So we almost every month did some tinkering with the parameters of the scheduling, and it always wasn't enough.
From DevOps perspective, very quickly, so we moved from 1 and 40 people in front of us to several squads and several agile teams, always with one product owner responsible for the data product. So we introduced data products at that time, which means that we're not talking about projects anymore. We're talking about series of projects, but on the products that we are running here. And this circles, whatever it is, it's not a circle, but it means that there are some people with better product owners, with better business, better integrated than others. And you should accept that, and you should take the best practice and then go on. And we add something which is very well known right now as SRE in Uber or Google. It's site reliability operations. So some guys, we found that we are not ready to improve the platform as fast as we would like to. Everything was changing very fast in 2015 still. So we put some guys outside of the projects just for them to work on the platform to check new things like Druid in 2015. It just started from Yahoo, or different stack that is arriving to the open source community. Then the key thing is double speed in 2016. So we started delivering the value, but the real value you can deliver when you connect all the data, and then drive the solution. So one of the approaches that we took here is strategic agility. Strategic agility means that you set the target, like here behind me, but this target is moving. Then you look on the data and you decide that you're going to move the target based on the data. And you accept that your target from the beginning might be different from the target that you're going to achieve in the end. So this is one thing. The second thing, which is two-speed delivery. So if we took a classic approach, let's connect the data and run the use cases, we won't be here right now because we'll be just working on our first use case to deliver it. So what we took actually, it's a kind of different approach. We run the transformation, the data unification basically, which is most difficult thing you should do in BI. And at the same time, we're running use cases. But those use cases took time because you spend most of your time, like 70% of your time on collecting the data. But then when the data is collected and unified, you spend less time. So the value curve, we're probably somewhere not on the top, but somewhere there actually right now. When we see that the value we can deliver in few weeks instead of sometimes 1 week instead of few months like before, because the data is interconnected, and we have something else which is here. This is data unification, but here we have data. I will call it activation. So we have, for example, next best action tools, where connected data can activate very quickly the guys from marketing. And I don't have to go to the marketing, explain what is going on. I'm just going to exchange the data below, and I'm going to say, this is the new model that is running on the production. Your databases that you're going to use for the marketing are different right now because I'm using the different model. And don't worry about this. Let's check whether it's better or not. So data unification and data activation. This is a very important thing to speed up afterwards the process. One last thing on this is. I call it K-zone. K stands for kill, and I don't want to put kill on the slides for obvious reason. But the kill zone is not my concept, it's from Stanford. What they say actually that if you like to succeed with the big projects in a big corporation, you should not activate the guys on the board, you should activate the guys only below the board. Because those guys, those directors, they have most resources and they take the real decisions on the operational level. So if instead of going one-man show, you talk to those guys like here, and you say to the directors, 3 of those, marketing, sales, and BI, for example, here. Let's do one agile team together, and let's meet every week, not to check how whether they are delivering or not, but what are the obstacles in our organization, so we can just remove the obstacles. This is the objective of the meeting. So run the difficult projects in that way. Without slides, without commitments, just every week meeting with the N+N-1 directors, just to remove the obstacle. And this is something that works, for example, for the projects like data, like next best action or the programmatic, which is not very well known in the beginning and not very well known on the market. Because you know that next week we're going to have different problem, and it's sure that the team can come to you, not to be blamed, but to be helped.
Okay, so 2016, 2017, we actually start seeing a shift how we use the cluster. First 2 years were about, well, not enough storage, etc. The machines were basically half lazy, sleeping. But during that time, the speed of transformation and solutions started to pick up, and we found ourselves in a place that processing power was a bottleneck instead of memory or something. So we started adding the machines. We started moving from Hive 1 to Hive 2. And we started with the SRE team.
Which is much faster for those who are using Hive 2. It's completely different.
If you have enough memory. With SRE team, we started moving to Ranger. Before that, we were just basic ACLs, kind of level of access. That kind of allowed us to centralize those managements, and that's fun. One of the projects we were doing came up and said, hey, for this kind of complex events processing, we want to use those additional tools like Jules and Solve, and we needed to add that and then support those infrastructures, not really the solution, but the infrastructure. And those are, so we start seeing components that are not a classical Hadoop platform, whatever Hortonworks or Cloudera is providing. We started adding Jules, Redis, etc. to keep it up. And by that time, we came out of OpenStack for analysts and their single machines, and we put up the analytical cluster where they actually are processing those unified data and running the models on that, rather than having them kind of spot instances. We also play a little bit using the graph databases, which was kind of nice to see how it works. And how we can speed up. One of the
great for the fraud use cases.
Fraud use cases were nice. Also, kind of geographical stuff was, I think, quite nice. They actually speeded down one of the solutions from 1 hour on the SQL or DBMS to from 1 day to 1 hour.
We should probably speed up.
And open source dashboard is coming up. Technical challenges on that. Remind people that Hadoop Hive is not RDBMS. Make as much of the management stuff. High availability. We talk about new tools. Resource race conditions. We start seeing that the streaming is competing with the batch. We need to do something on that. Validating new solutions is something that Tomasz as a director is pushing us all the time. Check this out, speed it up, make it cost effective. And those are the challenges facing right now.
I'm going to skip that one.
Yeah.
We're improving. One thing is it's about external companies. Sometimes they're coming to suggest some solutions. We're always checking the open source, whether it exists or not. And then we are checking whether there is need for the user interface or not. If it's user interface for the business is important, probably open source is very difficult to achieve in that way. One thing, a few words in the end, actually from our experience, when we are thinking about big data or BI, we have always data warehouses and different stuff here. We are always thinking about ecosystem, not about one solution, one use case, one system. So let's say we started from next best action, we have customer experience management solutions, we have data warehouse, we have Hadoop. Each time we connect to something else, like cookies, we'll check how we're gonna connect cookies to, if legally possible, of course, cookies to our CRM data, and how we're going to activate cookies via NBA, or how we are going to activate data we are collecting for this customer experience management via NBA to the portal. Everything is interconnected. Each new use case we are checking whether it's going to be interconnected or not. That's why the guys like architects are still relevant in the big data mode, not only the guys who are doing the stuff on the Hadoop. Then be open with data. We would like to give the access as much as possible, as long as it respects the privacy and the data is secure. And then the promotion. Our big challenge, actually, it's a promotion, because we are kind of shy. We're not doing this corporate high meeting about the success all over the time. But sometimes we are talking about the use cases. The use cases are millions calculated right now. So then it's going to be impressive. But still promote from the beginning. It's better. It's going to be better than in our case. It was not our best case scenario here.
And what's coming up right now is opening the data as much as we can. GDPR will also challenge, or is a challenge, visualization and federation of data. We still have a couple of data warehouses, Hadoop, and we need to federate those as much as possible, because moving those elements isn't really cost effective.
And our key challenge right now is visualization of the data in different warehouses. and we're gonna talk probably about this during the panel discussion afterwards. So I'm gonna skip that one for the question one, I think.
Thank you, guys. That was a nice presentation. Thanks for questions.